I just wanted to show you a little bit about our garden, a southern garden. It's a little bit different than your basic Utah garden that most of us are used to. So I thought I'd show you just kind of some of the fun things you can grow here. We're going to start off with, this is hardy kiwi. Hardy kiwi is a vine. We just planted it this year, just a couple weeks ago, so it's pretty small right now. But it does not grow the kiwis that you're used to in the grocery store. These aren't big, brown, fuzzy things. Instead, they're going to be the size of a grape, and they have no fuzz, so you can just pop them in and eat them. So just fun kiwi that way. Not something we're growing, but we have a rainwater collection system here that we can use to water our garden in the summer when it's really hot. All right, let's see what else we can find. Now, you can probably see this beautiful garden here. Okay, no, it's not beautiful at all. We made the mistake this year of planting pumpkins, which spread and took over everything, so we couldn't get in to mow or weed, and pretty much we gave up our entire garden this year, and we got one pumpkin about this big, and then it rotted. So that will be the last time we try to do pumpkins here. But normally we have 6 garden beds with a variety of your basic garden veggies. This is our navel orange tree. It's a pretty sad little navel orange tree. He's had a hard time getting started, although he's actually looking better now than he ever has. So I'm pretty excited about that. I think he's finally got his roots going, so hopefully that'll be a good producer. Let's see what else we can find. All right, so we put this chair here whenever we mow the lawn. We put it right here. And that's to prevent our kids from running over a tree. You ready to see this thing? Look at this little thing. The weeds are taller than it. This is a fig tree. This is a brown turkey fig. So we just planted that this year as well, and I'm pretty excited. Figs are supposed to be really great producers, but right now it's really small and sad looking. It's so small. Let's see. Got ourselves a plum tree. It's kind of sad looking. It also just got planted this year, so it's kind of went through shock and lost all of its leaves, but now it's leafing back out. Probably the only thing still going in our garden right now is our watermelon. We actually have a couple little watermelons starting to grow, and I think the only reason it's still living is because its vines stretched even farther than the pumpkins, so that's why it's still alive. Now back here, do you see what this is? This is sugar cane. This is sugar cane. This is what your sugar looks like before it looks like the nice white powdery crystally stuff you put on your food. It's actually a grass, and they take it and they press it and get the juice out of it, and that's what they make your sugar out of. But it's actually grass. Really, really tall grass. Oh, move, cat. Sorry, kitty. This is our cat, Pandora. She gets underfoot. You'll see here something, it looks like a big weed. There's a big, tall fern weed thing. This is actually asparagus. This is what it looks like if you don't pick its ferns, which we only pick the ferns in the spring when they're little. And then you let them go all summer long so that they have lots of energy to put back in their roots so they can come back up again in the spring. Let's see if we can find any, oh, come on over here. We do still have a little asparagus. And you just kind of snap it off. And there you go, asparagus. Let's see, okay, so we have grapevines. But our grapes are not the same kind of grapes as you would grow in northern Utah area. These are called muscadines. Now muscadines get pretty big. They don't grow in a big cluster. They kind of do individual little grapes. And they have a really thick skin that you can't really eat the skin very much. And really big seeds. But this isn't a snacking grape, but it makes a really good juice. You can't grow things like Concord here because it gets so hot and there's so much different diseases that you're going to end up with your plant dying within a year or two. So muscadine grapes, that's the southern grape. All right, let's see what we got. Okay, so right here we have okra. Now usually I plant my okra in my main garden bed, but the okra this year ended up dying off thanks to the lovely pumpkins that just kind of overran it. But as the okra gets bigger, like if you plant it in the spring and it actually has time to grow, it's going to eventually get so tall that you'll have to reach up and bend it down to pick off the okra. So we're planted a second batch this year. We're hoping to get enough to hopefully be able to pickle a bit. So that'll be nice. Okra's actually pretty good. It's not something you find in the northern gardens. They call it the poor man's green bean here. And it actually tastes fairly similar to green beans, but it's got a mucusy effect, which, you know, if you don't cook it right, you can end up with something that's kind of slimy. Ugh. But it makes really good pickled okra and really good fried okra. Let's see what else we can find. All right, we have here, this is our mason bee lodge. We don't currently have normally we have a can in here that has a bunch of straws. We're trying to encourage some mason bees to come and live here. We got a couple who came in, laid their eggs. So we'll have some mason bees for next year. They're really good pollinators and they're less aggressive than most bees, so that makes it nice. Let's see, we got our apricot tree. You can do apricots here even though it's hot. And we got a pear tree. Now this tree, you're probably not going to find so much in Utah. In fact, this is a tree that I grew based off of what everyone else said was good. I've never actually had this kind of fruit before. This is a persimmon tree. You can see it's kind of a floppy tree, really big leaves. But it's supposed to be really, really good fruit. Its nickname is the fruit of the gods. So we had room for an extra tree in the yard and decided, hey, let's grow persimmon. All right. We got our peach tree. It's kind of sad this year. It's dropping its leaves a little early. But it gives really, really pretty pink blossoms and really yummy fruit. Ooh, I want to show you this. Okay, this isn't technically garden stuff, but I'm super thrilled about this. Look at my fire pit patio. My husband made this for me for Mother's Day. We found a whole bunch of bricks that the builders of the neighborhood had left behind, and we contacted the builders and said, hey, can we have these bricks? And they said, yeah, go ahead. And so for about $170, we got this patio fire pit ring thing, and I really like it. So you can totally have this in a northern garden too. This is our satsuma tree. A satsuma gives a very small citrus fruit. You know those cutie oranges that you get at the store is very similar to that. Okay? But they don't ship well because when you pick them, they tend to start peeling themselves in the process because the peel comes off so easy. And so that's why you don't really find satsumas at the grocery store. This is actually probably our best producer, but this is its off year. It produces like every other year. So no satsumas this year. We'll probably have plenty next year. Oh, look at that. We got some sort of buggy type thing. It's a caterpillar. Well, that's fun. We'll probably have to take that off before it eats the tree. Over here, you can't really find it because the beautiful morning glory and the day flowers took over everything. But we have our blackberries. And we also have kind of a different variety of blackberries, our Brazos berries over here. I'm going to have to spend quite a bit of time weeding to find them again because they kind of got taken over. We got our lemon tree over here. Now our lemon tree actually had probably about 20 lemons this year. We were pretty excited about that, but then my daughter decided that she wanted to pick the lemons to make a jungle for a cat. So she picked all the lemons. So we have no lemons this year. Hopefully next year, little tree. At the same time that she picked all the lemons, she also picked all the branches off of our banana plant. You can kind of see it's still kind of sad. But it grew some new leaves, so she didn't kill it, thank goodness. But that's new this year, so we're pretty excited about the prospect of getting bananas. Bananas are not actually a tree. They are also of more the grass type family. So they grow a stalk, they give you bananas, and then that stalk will actually never give you any bananas again. It'll grow more stalks. This is our Malabar spinach. Now Malabar spinach tastes a lot like spinach, as according to the name. But they're thicker leaves, and they once again give you kind of that mucusy effect, which, you know, sounds kind of gross, but it's actually not bad. It's actually pretty good, especially if you cook it up. This is really good. Jimmy likes to cook this up with some bacon, and that's really yummy. Nice thing about Malabar spinach is it's a lot more tolerant of the heat than normal spinach. In fact, it actually likes the heat. We had a hard time getting this started this year because we made the mistake of planting it indoors, and it just wasn't ever germinating and nothing was coming up, and we thought our seeds were all bad, but it turns out that it was actually just too cold. So once we moved the pot outside, then the seeds woke up and now we have spinach, and it's gonna get some little pink flowers, which will make kind of a little berry. Now Malabar spinach is an annual, but those little berry seeds are so plentiful that it might as well be a perennial because it's going to come back up the next year. All right, let's see what else we got out front. The wind is strong today. We got a tropical storm on the way, as you can see from the cloud cover. It was thinking it was going to be a hurricane, but it's not, so that's nice. We got apple trees. We got one and another one over here, 2 apple trees. Now you can have apple trees here, but you can't have the same varieties as you would in a northern garden. It's just not cold enough here. Your basic apples, your Gala and stuff like that, they're going to need a longer winter with more chill hours. So here you can have apple trees if you do the right varieties. So this is a Dorset Gold. And this back here is an Anna. Now our Dorset Gold is kind of a funny little tree. He doesn't like to wake up in the spring unless you clip his branches. So we have to actually prune him every spring just to get him to wake up from winter. It's kind of weird. Our Anna though, she's been a good tree. She's given us a couple apples. She's still pretty young, but she's doing good. Although I think the wind is making her lean just a little. Let's see, so here we have, this is our crepe myrtle tree. It gives pretty little pink flowers. It's not a fruit producing tree by any means, but it's a pretty thing in the spring, and this, you know, gives flowers I think twice a year. I think so. This is a chestnut tree. It seems to have been stressed out a bit by the summer. As you can tell, it's dropping a lot of its leaves, going into kind of an early hibernation. But hopefully it'll come back good and strong next year. We have another chestnut tree over here. So we're hoping for a real nice effect with 2 chestnut trees here in the front. The last thing I want to show you is our rosemary. So this is our rosemary bush. Now in Utah, your rosemary is usually going to be more of an annual because winter's going to come, it's going to kill off your bush. But here, rosemary is a perennial. In fact, you have a hard time killing it. So it gets very big, a very large bush with delicious rosemary. Anyway, that's our southern garden. Hope you enjoy it. Bye.